We are getting closer and closer to 40K. So let's talk about some team needs as we get closer to 40K. What is up, Finn fans? Yes, we are very close to 40K, which means we are very close to a very big giveaway. I might give away 4 things. I might give away one big thing. But we are, right now, as I'm recording this, 39,179. So about 821 subscribers from 40,000. Do a big giveaway, big live stream once we break 40K. So if you like this video, if you like my content and all that stuff, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Share the channel. Get it out there. Let's break 40K. And I appreciate the flapping crap out of all of you for who's hitting the subscribe button, following, all that good stuff. But yeah, so if you notice, I've been slowly trickling into free agency, which starts on March 15th. So, we're slowly getting to February. And then we're getting to March. So right now, I talked about the cap space. And then I talked a little bit about quarterbacks that are available. Again, not all of them pertain to the Miami Dolphins, but some of them do. And now I'm talking about team needs. Now, going into the 2023 season, I have other videos, resign, sign, targets, all that stuff. But I'm just going off of team needs, because I got 7 on this list. Now, as I'm talking right now, I'm still debating whether I want to go 1 to 7 or 7 to 1. But there's a good amount, and some are more important to me than others. You might agree, you might disagree. Again, that's what the comment section's for, and I look forward to reading all your comments. But we're going to jump into this. And you know what? We're going to go from 7 to 1. We're going to go from my opinion of not as important of a team need to the number 1, in my opinion, team need. We start with number 7. Number 7 is backup quarterback. Now, obviously, a backup quarterback is incredibly important. It's number 7 on the list of many other needs that the Dolphins need. But to me, the backup quarterback is important. Let me preference that. I'm literally going to make a full video just on the backup quarterback situation. But I like Skylar Thompson. I like his development. I think more time and more in this offense and, more under his belt, I think he could be better. I think he can slow the game down. I think he can, speed up his processing, but slow everything down for him, kind of take a breath, hit the open man. There wasn't much that I didn't like about Skylar, but there's a lot that I did like, his arm strength and all that stuff. For him, it's more up here. But obviously the Dolphins need to bring in a vet. They need to bring in a guy, God forbid, Tua does go down, that we're not depending on Skylar again. Again, not saying he can't do it, but again, we don't know. There's that gray there. So you want to have for sure, okay, this guy's going to come in, we're going to win games, versus this past year, Tua went down, we lost the 3 games, and then Tua went down again, and we lost again, and it's like, for one, Tua needs to stay healthy, but we also need to have a good, viable backup, like a Matt Moore, like a Chad Henne, like these guys that we've had in the past. So, again, it's not high on my list, but it still is a need, and the Dolphins need to address it and get a legit backup quarterback. Number 6 on my list, corner depth. Now, right now, the Miami Dolphins, under contract, have Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, Noah Benogany, Keon Cross, and Trill Williams, Kader Kohu, and Tino Ellis. Those are the guys that the Dolphins have under contract in 2023. Meaning these guys aren't free agents, but obviously I would be genuinely shocked out of my socks if the Dolphins don't move on from Byron Jones. The only free agent that I really want them to bring back and re-sign is Nick Needham. But other than that, again, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 corners under contract for next year, but they need depth. We didn't get bitten by the injury bug. We didn't get we got demolished by the injury bug on our secondary, to the point where guys were getting injured, and then we were bringing in corners to help, and the corners were doing well, and then they got injured, like Alexander McKenzie. He brought him in, and then he got in, and it was just like, could we get any type of luck when it came to the corners? To the point that an undrafted free agent, Cater Coe, who got thrusted into the number 2 position and actually had a really good season. So we need cornerback depth desperately. Obviously, we need to. Is Cater going to be the number 2 to X, or are they going to go out and get a legit number 2 corner? And are they going to take Cater and put him at the slot where he might thrive a little bit better, even though he did really well, and let Nick Needham walk? Or are they going to bring in Nick Needham back? And there's a lot that needs to be addressed, but the Dolphins desperately need cornerback depth. That is the number 6. The number 5 team need on my list, tight end. Mike Gesicki is going to be testing free agency. And go back and listen to the end of the year press conference with Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel. And they asked him about Mike Gesicki. And he said, and I quote, "He earned the right to test free agency." So he will be testing free agency. And again, I talked about this in a previous video. He's going to go out, he's going to test free agency, and Miami's probably going to contact him. You know, he'll probably have meetings with, I'm trying to think of teams that might need a tight end. The Giants, the Packers. He might, you know, these types of teams, he might go out and he might meet with them. And then Dolphins might hit him up and say, "Hey, what was your what did they offer?" Or his agent might get back to Miami and be like, "Look, he likes Miami, he wants to stay there. The Giants or the Packers or whoever he meets with offered him this much. Can you match?" And if the Dolphins are like, "Well, it's way too much. We're going to pay somebody who we don't know if he can still fit in this offense." But again, he's going to hit the free agent market, and then Adam Shaheen's probably going to be released. Sathan Carter's probably going to be released, and then we're kind of stuck down to Durham Smythe and Hunter Long, and then you still need another guy, and again, that comes into free agent targets and stuff like that. But the Dolphins need to address the tight end area, especially in this offense where tight end's very important. And especially in some of these, Durham Smythe was really good at the beginning of the year, and he was taking a lot of these passes and turning them into first downs. We need the Kittle, we need the Kelsey, we need the Go-Dirt, we need the Andrews, we need these types of tight ends. Not Hunter Henry, the Bengals tight end, his name is, falling out of my head. But we need those types of tight ends to come in and do their thing. So the Dolphins need a tight end. That is number 5 on my list of needs. Number 4, running back. And you're like, Doug, why are you writing running back? Raheem Mostert did really well. Wilson did really well. Well, that's because do you know how many running backs the Miami Dolphins have on the roster under contract for 2023? I'll give you a second. 0. Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, Savon Ahmed, Myles Gaskin, all free agents. Now, I do expect them to bring some of those guys back. Hopefully Mostert, hopefully Jeff Wilson. I think they did really well for us. But the Dolphins need to get some, obviously they're going to probably draft some running backs, maybe undrafted free agent running backs. We have tested those waters before. But, there's the rumors of Saquon Barkley. Dolphins have the best odds of landing Saquon. Josh Jacobs is out there. I'm trying to think. There's another big name that's out there that he's just. Oh, Pollard. He's at there's some big free agent running backs out there. Will the Dolphins go out and grab one of them? I don't know. But Dolphins have no running backs under contract in 2023. So running back is number 4 to me. The number 3 on this list, there it is, left guard. Now, left guard, we have Liam Eichenberg. He was all right. He had 10 starts, 2 sacks, 7 hits, 18 hurries, 27 pressures. He was all right. Robert Jones did much better than Liam Eichenberg. But again, if you want to build, this is the way I'm thinking when it comes to team needs and when it comes to free agency and when it comes to a 2023 roster. Look at the Eagles and look at the 49ers, right? Both of those teams, you look at Jalen Hurts last year, there was thoughts of, this is the year he needs to prove it. The Eagles, had 2 first-round picks, and they were like, what are we going to do? And it was the whole situation with, are they going to move off from him or not? So what they did, they gave him one of the best defenses in the NFL. They gave him one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. They gave him 2 of the best wide receivers in the NFL. They gave him one of the best running games in the NFL. And now he's a finalist for MVP. Look at Brock Purdy. 7th round pick, the last pick in the NFL draft. Gave him one of the best offensive lines, best wide receivers, best tight end, best running back, and best defense, and ask him not to do anything stupid. And they're both thriving, and they're playing in the NFC Championship game. So if you want, and again, people are like, well, Tua needs everything perfect. Those are literally, like, what Jalen Hurts and Brock Purdy are dealing with is literally the definition of a perfect situation. Now, Tua, on the other hand, his offensive line was ranked 22nd in the NFL. He was ranked 34th with time to throw. Yes, he was only sacked 20th, but he had 160 pressures. So many different things. We need to address these positions, right? And, you know, Teron Armstead, Connor Williams, and Robert Hunt, very good. So we have less things to address, but left guard is one of them. Get some guy in there. Do you move off of the Connor Williams center, experiment? I think it was a success, but do you move him to left guard, go get a legit center? I don't know. That'd be really wish-washy of them. But they need to go out and get a legit left guard, and they need to build this offensive line up. Not only for Tua, not only for the pass game, but to get a run game going. Left guard. Number 2 on my list. If we're talking left guard, we got to talk right tackle. Shell did well. Austin Jackson, hot garbage. Shell on 13 starts. He had a run block PPR grade of not PPR, PPF. My brain is not Pro Football Focus. PFF grade of 75.9. His pass blocking, though, was not great. It was 51.7. He gave up 2 sacks, 8 hits, 30 hurries, and 40 pressures on 13 starts. 3 more starts, and he did, Liam Mike didn't do it much better. They need to get a legit right tackle out there. Again, you address the right tackle, left guard situation, and you bring in someone better, someone more reliable, someone that's not going to get blown off and give the quarterback more than 34th ranked in the NFL time to throw the ball. You're going to cook, and you allow the run game, you're going to cook. So, again, those are the only positions on the offensive line that worry me. Obviously, there's depth, and that's, again, that would be 8. If I made like a full list, that would probably be 8 depth on the offensive line, and then, this and that. Like I could do it for days, but left guard and right tackle, to me, right tackle, the tackles are most important than the interior, especially because Robert Jones didn't play too bad, but the tackles are very important, and right tackle, especially because they announced Tua as the starter, and that's his blind side. So number 2 is tackle. And the number 1 need for the Miami Dolphins on my list is, drumroll, there's no drumroll, but I'll just do this. Linebacker. We need specifically, or as kids say nowadays, pacifically, we need a middle linebacker. We haven't had a good middle linebacker since Zach Thomas back in 2006. That's the last time he played a full season. 2007, he only played 5 games. 2008, he went to the Dallas Cowboys. We have a very good run-stopping linebacker in Landon Roberts, but they can't play coverage. Jerome Baker is a very good blitzing linebacker, can't play coverage. We need that all-around good linebacker. Is there some in free agency? We're going to talk about that in another video. But the Dolphins' linebacking core is not great. I would even say it's not good. And it hasn't been good for a very long time. We can't cover tight ends. We can't cover the middle of the field. Like, there's so many problems with that middle linebacker situation. But then when it came to stopping the run, the Dolphins have a top 10 rush defense because of the middle linebacker play. And obviously because of Christian Wilkins and Sealer up in the middle and Raekwon Davis. But we need to address. To me, that's number 1 in my mind. Go out, get yourself. And again, we still have Tyndall. Tyndall can pan out to be really good. Depending on who the defensive coordinator we get, can they, evolve him into something really good? That's what we need to see, but we need to get a linebacker, preferably a stud. Like, I wanted Roquan Smith. Really wanted Roquan Smith. I wanted him in the draft, and I wanted him when the trade, market opened up. Edmonds, I wanted him in the draft. His potential, the Dolphins get him because the Bills are going to be cap strapped. So the Dolphins can get him. I understand that he did get blocked into the ground against the Bengals, but how many linebackers don't? So there's possibilities out there, but definitely number 1 in my mind. Linebacker. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. If I missed any needs that you're like, actually, Doug, I would say this need is more important than this one. Or if you're like, hey, I like your list, I would just move this to here and this and there. Comment below. Let me know. I'm very interested in reading your comments. But that's what I got for you. I'm going to do the picks later today for the championship games. It's going to be a very, very good one. And then I will see you tomorrow with what video? I have a dry erase board filled with them. So I'll see you guys. And let me know, right? I don't know if you guys knew I live streamed this past Sunday for the Bengals-Bills game. But let me know if you want me to do the Bengals-Chiefs game. Comment below. Let me know if you want me to live stream. If you guys want me to, I'll do it. But other than that, like I said, if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. We're on our way to 40,000 subscribers. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Like usual, stay classy. Fins up.